the yeshiva privately. They don't have any questions. They don't have any questions. They wanted to ask chinuch questions, different.
Right.
That was one question for the yeshiva. I was wondering, nowadays in America, specifically, it's hard. Kids have a lot of demands and they want things, and especially see things with other kids in the class. How does a parent, manage those demands with chinuch in the home?
So I think that is very important, and that will solve to a great degree the problems, is to develop a very, very strong relationship between the father and the son. And this strong relationship has to be built upon that the son feels that the father loves him, the father holds from him. In other words, the father is not disappointed in him. If the son is not, very, very often, a father is, as I say, a very, very punctual type of person. That is definitely punctual. So, and he has a child who's not punctual. That's his tendency not to be punctual. And the father is disappointed. He wants to have a child which is punctual. The child is not allowed to feel that the father feels disappointed. He has to feel the father loves him and not only loves him, he holds from him. He holds from him what he is. And the third thing is the son has to feel that has to hold from. He has to feel that the father helps him. The father holds from him, loves him, and helps him whenever he's needed. That's what the son has to feel. The father holds from him, but he also has to hold from the father. He has to love the father, and he has to hold from the father. And it's very important the father should act in such a way that the son should hold from him. If he sees that the father is a person that does things that he cheats or he lies or such type of things, and the son can't really look at him as a role model, then it's bad. So the perfect relationship is that the son looks at the father as a role model. He looks at the father and he loves him very much, and the son holds that the father loves him and holds from him and cares for him. When this is there, it's then kamat, most of the time the son will want to go along with what the father wants. When it's not there, and then you have a problem, and then you ask, how should the father act, is really a problem. The way of facing all these problems is by working beforehand to develop this relationship. And it's a hard thing, but sometimes a son does disappoint a parent. You can't always love the child, but you must work on yourself to love the child. That's the answer to your question.
How about for a daughter?
How
about for a daughter?
The same thing. The same thing with the mother, though. The father and the mother, but the mother very much also. Exactly the same thing.
The mother's more important. The mother's more important for the daughter, and the father's more important for the son. That's what she was saying.
I think that the relationship between the mother and the daughter is in a way more than with the father most of the time. Most of the time. Many times I find that the relationship is with the father, because with the mother she's fighting. And that's very often. But it shouldn't be that way. It should be that the same way I said about the father and the son should be the mother and the daughter.
You have two sons. They're totally different. How do you sometimes do kind of one where you wouldn't necessarily apply that to the other? Some kids acting out, you'll give more of a leeway and be more let him stay up later, or let him get away with more things because that's his personality.
And the other son will have a kashrah?
He sees it. He'll get, but you can't always say what's right for one is right for the other.
Right, 100%. But I'm asking the question: will the other son is an older boy or a younger boy?
The older one is the better one, let's say.
Let's say.
Yeah.
So the older one can more or less understand what you're doing to the younger one.
He can understand in an hour from now if you sit down and explain it to him. But B'Shas Ma'aseh, he won't.
So this is another point, is that really that anything you want to do, such a type of thing, you should not wait for the Shas Ma'aseh. You should do something very good to the son, to the older one, and at that point you sit him down and tell him, listen, sometimes I have to do something for him which I can't do for you. And you have to understand that there's a reason for it, and you do understand, but not b'shas ma'is that you're doing it to the other one. B'shas ma'is that the older one feels good towards you, and then at that point you sit him down, not standing. You sit him down, and you tell him, I want to tell you something, and you want to confide in him, so he feels like mechubed, and then he'll listen. The other way is harder. If you have to do for the older one, the younger one doesn't understand you. The kid's like, you have to understand. That's a much harder type of thing.
What do you do if it's the other way around? If the younger one can't understand the older one, but the older one needs a different kind of chinuch?
You have to tell them that now you're young, so you have to have this type of chinuch. When you get older, then there's a chinuch for older. Something like that, tell them. That either you tell them you'll understand it better when you're older, or you'll get the chinuch when you're older. So the kid will, when he gets older, he'll understand that's not the chinuch for him. But now it'll be a terrorist for him.
Let's say, like most of us say, let's say you're a bus. You want to bring up your kids that Torah is the most important thing and all that. They should sit and learn along. You're not doing that yourself.
I'm sorry?
You know, you're.
Say again.
You want to bring up your family to be a Torah family, and you're not necessarily living a steer to that life, but you're not throwing that sit and learn the whole day. You're a bus. You're not learning the whole day yourself. So how do you give over that message to your kids that really the most important thing is?
What do you want for your kid to be?
You want, obviously, the best thing is to, to sit and learn, right?
You want
the whole
that,
day, right?
So, if the child feels from you a feeling, oh, halvai v'alvich can't sit and learn. In other words, that what you're doing now is he had no blame, he had to go out and work. If he gets that feeling from you, that what you're doing is a b'di'evet, to a certain degree a b'di'evet, you would have preferred to be in the koil yourself. If you get that feeling to the child, then you have no problem at all. That's number one. Number two, if the house is a house like a ben Torah, I said now, with Eretz Yisrael now there's a whole trying to make, there's a lot of balabatim now in Eretz Yisrael, which wasn't until now, and working how to integrate them together with, to make them, till now it was any person became a balabas in Eretz Yisrael, went all the way down. That's what it was, automatically. Because he felt he was totally out of everything, and he's like third grade, and he was totally out of it. And we're trying to, and there's a very large amount of balabatim like that, and we try to make it like America more. That's what the style of America. So I said, first of all, don't call yourselves balabatim. Call yourself bnei Torah that have to go to work. That's number one. That you're still bnei Torah, but you have to work. And the house itself must do dituk halacha. The mishabur should be on the table not less than a mishabur on the table by a house of a young man. And the way of speaking, the tznius. That way, the house could be a house like a young man come out, except in terms of wealth, of comfort. A balabos is a person who works. Doesn't have to live like a Yugoman. He can live like a balabos. But chutz from that, he can live all the tznius, the dikud halacha. There should be on the table a gemara or whatever, that should be the same thing. And then the kid will get the idea that the main thing, the koiladikim are the prime of Klal Yisrael. And you throw it every once in a while. You talk about Yugoman. Depends how you talk about him. If you talk about a young man with their respect and awe, then the kid chaps it, and you hope for that, and they go along with that. The kid chaps, from the half of words.
Rashida, we have a chabura here of balabatim that learn every morning for a short amount of time, and we sit around the table over here. We're learning Masechus Be'ah together, and we learn in a style where we learn very slowly, and it's all a group discussion, where we work out the sugyas very klar. Every detail we schmooze together until we get it very klar, and we do a lot of chazaras as part of it and afterwards. So either Rashida just give us some chizuk, with our style and our chabura.
Very, very. There's in the part is written והיוסו מפידים ויחד במדבר. So the Chaim says, "Vayisum Refidim," that they in Refidim there was Rifyan. Vayisum Refidim. They went away from that type of feeling of Rifyan. That's one point that has to be done. That not Rifyan, but Hasmoda and Arangitonkeit and Amelus b'Torah. That right. That's very important for to start and learn. It has to be the Amelus b'Torah. If you're sitting around and talking and learning strong, that's a gewaltige Sache. But he says also nothing. Vayachalu b'midvar midas toivus. Now we're sitting around and talking. Should be very, very careful of kvoit chavercho. And that's vayachalu b'midvar, the anova, b'midvar anova. So this in such a group is very, very important. These two things, Asmoda and the Amelus, which is very, very important, the Holova, and not get away with. There's only one. There's one problem with this type of learning, that a person who doesn't want to be a master, doesn't want to be to Holova, he could, more or less get away with group therapy. When I remember with Bacha, used to be a certain Rav, certain Rebbe, so he used to ask a kasha, and then when he came to the terrace, he wanted everybody to join in the vote, to join in and say the vote. So everyone would yell. So the whole group of Bacha would just yell. They know what was going on, but everybody's yelling. And they yell also. So they have to be very careful. That this group everybody should still feel that he has to push himself. That's very important, and even if it's group. But everybody should have a part of that group. That's what number one. And second, that the anova and the delecheres and the respect that everybody, whoever says something, nobody that should not be. There should be like delecheres and lachshiv et ma shasheni omer. So the two.